Hi friends, I've missed you. Oh, what a trip it's been. I mean, when you grow up a professional skier or any athlete, if that's you from childhood, you are the research subject and the research scientist. Because, you're always like, how can I do this better? How can I do this better? How can I do that better? How can I... Oh, wow. It's been quite an awesome journey here and now. And that's really, I've discovered so much. It's like, what is the difference between, you got the same parts as a dog, a cat, a rat, but you don't think like that. I do. And I'm gonna regrow the collective behavior in you. Why? Why are you not like a dog, cat, or rat? Well, primarily, it's you're not eating earth dog food. Alright, so let's do the literacy objects really quick. Energy, matter. Okay? Everything you see is energy and matter. And it comes in two types. It comes in physics aware, like energy physics. Like you look at a computer, how the energy flows through there. And then we have physics aware energy. Me and you, all the life. And so this physics aware energy comes in a couple of different phases. It comes in single phase, and then multi-phase, which is also known as our universal subconscious, what beats our heart. Okay, and so what happens is that because we think, we have ideas, concepts. All right, like an idea as a concept is like, you've heard me say this analogy before. My head is in the bathroom. I have an idea. I have to go to the bathroom. I haven't had it yet. Well, that concept, that idea is, I go again, and then I go to the bathroom, and it transcends into energy matter, but then it's vanished. Okay, but what happens with us, because, it wasn't anybody's fault. But back in the 1600s, when, printing press was not even really going that much yet. It wasn't industrialized. And back in the 1600s, when Galileo goes, hey, we're a species orbiting the sun. Well, the concepts of man were primary, and it wasn't, mathematics was still in its infancy as far as, as right now today, you can say, well, math follows the environment like music. But our language doesn't. Our language is the environment. Artificial talking environment. I'm 2020, and I'm 8 artificial talking environment. And that's because we're taught to be defined by words. Words define us. All right, instead of the language following the environment, like, let me tell you, in your universal subconscious dominion, that when you walk in one dominion. That's the universal subconscious dominion, USD, your most valuable asset. But when we talk, where's Middle East on basketball? American? I'm American. Well, there's no background, no foreground. And then the psychological thing that happens to us is that we get as tick, tick, tick of the clock. Concept of man. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Concept of man, no background, no foreground. But we're fed these concepts as objects. Alright, so they're mixed up. You can never do that. You gotta break them apart. And so we get transported into this artificial talking environment, and we're not here now, which is G time. is that, G-timers, we bring back, like your dog, your cat. They're here now. They're not like, oh, I gotta go to work on Friday and I gotta do this, I gotta do that. No, we don't get our base state growing because the language does not follow the environment. The language is the environment. And you can figure it out with the literacy objects all by yourself. What's crossed up in your mind is, I gotta break it up. America. Well, see, a background needs a foreground. A dark needs a light. All right, it has to have that. But as a species, okay, gotta prove we're a species. We must supply the growing conditions for a species to the children. And it's our responsibility. We're 380 years late. I mean, look at this pandemic. It's just embarrassing. Well, it's actually all my opportunity, the universal subconscious that runs through all these plants. Has been guiding me. I just, give it up. And here and now, to that energy feeling that you get, instead of getting transported, into this artificial environment that, as a base. So we get back on subject, is that the pandemic that's going on is just, immune systems are outlawed. Imagine taking the poor little kids today and keeping masks on them until they're, 50. Well, as soon as they take their mask off, they're going to die because their immune system is not being pressured and working. But no child, just, without pre-existing conditions in California anyway, no child under 18 has even died. And then if you take all of the people that have died, that only 6% of them can be accounted just to court it. And so we are being totally manipulated by, this artificial environment. A bunch of people who I'm words define me. I'm a, I'm a word thinking first. What the fuck? Word thinking first. What the fuck? My name's Donald Trump. And I hump grunts. Humpa grunt. Well, see, in my world, in G-time, move your finger, model internet, us on it, and G-time, the future. And this is the here and now. All right, that's what G-time brings with system, with USD literacy, is that we keep a child, we return our, regrow our here and now. Because if you're not here and now, how can you don't respect and understand that the multicellular energy flowing and growing this tree is also the multicellular energy, us, the universal subconscious, that beats our heart until we're 6. All right? And that's us right here. That beats our heart until we're and then that's when, we get that language installed, then we get divided from ourselves. And so that way that, we get, isolated because we don't walk and talk from the same dominion. The logic of the universal subconscious, native object logic, that's what it's called. Energy, matter, okay? Physics aware energy has ideas, concepts, you have your ideas. And so these ideas, that's like what we're doing, you cannot mix them. All right, and so poof, you gotta break them apart, be here and now with species. It's like, that, I think that, much of it, other than the political power related to the pandemic, there's a lot, we're all in the artificial environment. They're all production units to the big pharma. And so that has a lot going on as far as, and then it's funny too that all the government workers get their paycheck, everything's fine, but they don't have to go to work. They've been on a 6-month vacation, many of them. Probably a good I don't know, 50, 60%. Because everybody's, and because everybody's blowing this whole pandemic thing up. It's like, my gosh, how could you, I mean, it's why, just because we can track something, but, doesn't mean that it's any different than what's been going on before. So, it's like, oh my gosh. Blah. So, but it's actually setting us up. The universal subconscious. And let me tell you more about the universal subconscious. That the internet is another life form on this earth built by the universal subconscious. Heck, the object-oriented programming is based on energy. This Alan Kay was first a biologist, and he applied the biology physics at energy, messaging, external memory biology. Hi! That's object-oriented programming. That's where it came from. Well, and so, here with us, here and now, G time, that you're here. And so, their time has passed. There's time to come. But you gotta be here now to make the adjustment where we will always and forever, the G-time generation is what the G-time generation, our G-time generation, are GIs. And we're, that's good, we're gonna, we're GIs, and, listen, it's G3, 14 days till 0, and that'll begin G4. And I hope to have everything up and running so I have a full year of, G4 the mothers, G4 the children who saved their, life, their logic. and I have a full year, the year G4, to end all wars, bring people home, so that that language follows the environment. And the main primary thing that I'm doing is to get the internet timed to the Earth and Sun. That this one object, we time the internet to the Earth and Sun. Because imagine an interstellar object comes through the solar system, alters the orbit of the Earth, and now a year is 240 days. Just percent. But it's 240 days. Well, what's the antiquated concept of man, status quo, Santa's ho 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 calendar gonna do? That's totally obsolete. But on G time, because it's simple 364 countdown, 364 day countdown to 0. Well, on the 0, we adjust for the next year. And so the internet must be timed to the environment, so that language must follow the environment, and then and that can only happen if you push all those concepts of man, identify them. Here you have a background and a foreground. Species. Right, here you have background, foreground. This, if you're here now, but if you're like, we have to stay home tonight, and I'm diverting from myself. I'm gonna go. I guess I'll go watch TV, and I'm not feeling well. That we create all these diversions from ourselves, from being here now, and facing the real truths of this universal, subconscious, operating environment. I mean, geez. Look how we get locked in boxes that are called houses, and everybody's a production unit, and it's like we are totally divided into, like, we're under and hypnosis. It's like social hypnosis. that is the artificial talking environment. Like, where's Middle East on a basketball? My artificial talking environment friend. Well, see, the language cannot be the environment. We're going to go from universal like what the fuck literacy, word thinking first literacy, and then I'm bringing USD literacy, universal subconscious dominion. All right, well, forever the future will walk and talk and we will grow the species, the life from this earth. All right, and we're doing it 380 years late. And all, the first update of the language, which will, that will have, I wonder what will be on G0. That's it. But in that September 22nd, 21st century, 2000 year, that I don't know what it is, G4, but that's the G0 for G3. Where will we be? Well, I mean, I've engineered all this stuff, and me asking you to help and share this, and if you got we're gonna turn money into the same as inches, feet, yards, because I mean, people hinching people for money, and that's a concept of man. No, this is about integrity. It's like, I love you unconditionally. You have no choice because I'm here now. It's like your kid or your dog or your cat. You can beat on them, hate on them, leave, come back, and they up the love on you because we're here now. All right, and some of these, the CC calendar and solstice, equinox, seasonal energy. Sure, there's a change of behavior in the winter and the spring. Like I like bikinis in the spring, and I gotta get the wood together for the winter. And so, but there is this, like that's the trees show it too. And we're not grown here and now with it and amplified by it. Because the more you tune in, I call it binary integrity tuning. The more you tune in to, because these will never let you down. Universal native object logic, all right? Energy, matter, concepts, not no mixing, pop. That's the species logic of all dogs and cats, anything that has, a brain, even bugs. But even the energy through here. And so we cannot, that's really fragile, the relationship, because we all start as a single cell. The marriage of our mothers, of our dad and our mothers make us into one cell. All right, and so, then we turn multi-cell. Well, that's our default. And so when when we don't talk and walk from the same place, the universal subconscious divides from us. And that's where those shifts are that we felt as children. Is that because it's like, we're going to just isolate these brains that aren't in any place that we want them to be. They're like, in this artificial environment and emotional grunting because I'm a word thinking first with the thought. Instead of the integrity, the life, that we are. And you only get that here and now. And that's G time. It's a state of mind that we re-anchor our whole species here on this earth. But the background and foreground, we're no longer trapped in this Gregorian calendar box that just every generation more and more and more dangerous. We're 380 years late. Galileo didn't have computer science. Computer science came from English. All right, and so we're applying, like I did. It's like the whole research subject thing. It's been a long trip, but applying computer science on English, and then we'll do all the other languages. And by G4, next year by the 0, oh my gosh, it's gonna be fun. Because the accounting system I'm setting up, this is about collective behavior. I'll never ever breach this because it's integrity. It's collective behavior. The accounting system for G timers is all transparent. Everybody sees every penny because we want to know. Hey, we need to go that way. Because just think of it this way: is that my dad tells me, son, you are from California, the last freedom. No one is going to save our species except for somebody from California. The fate of the world is on your back. And I was only like about, 4 or 5. Okay, Dada. And so, that from California all the way around the world, where will we be by G4? I know we can end all wars. And, about the accounting system is that, why were all the whales almost killed? For money. Well, now, Earth is the whale, and there's only one, okay? And it's for sale. In computer programming, if you eat your own dog food, this is free Earth dog food, all right? You've got energy, matter, all right? Comes in two kinds, right? Energy physics and physics aware energy, all right? And it has ideas and concepts. So that's what grows, all right? But they cannot be mixed, all right? The growth, the universal subconscious divides from us. And so that is, what I'm doing a practice right here for the big release of Species SOS. But I love you, friends. And you early investors and sharers, because this is about integrity. When you share this, you go, that feels good because you're here and now. There's no way you can ignore it. We're 380 years late. Time to, that we have is, it's not a negative thing in any way, shape, or form. Because, that's really, you got to embrace the negative to know the positive. We don't get taught that. It's like, it's like, there'd be no valleys without any peaks, or no peaks without any valleys. Well, life is lived in the valley. But, in the artificial talking environment, 2020, it's like, we're only taught to see the peaks. Oh, the election, oh, the election, oh, the election. But, what's happening here and now means nothing. Everybody's on autopilot. They're like, I'm not thinking about being here and now and being the life that I am. I got the same parts as a dog, cat, or rat. But I don't think like that. I'm third-party nature. Words define me. Words are my environment. I cannot think unless it can be defined by words. Wait, that was me before all this adventure. Oh, man. Here now. Tea time. That you really just got to step back before you go to bed tonight. Here now. And fall on your sword to your universal subconscious and say, yeah, I know I was taken to an artificial environment. But, because, with all of our forms of communication, we are suffering a sensory deprivation. Like when I spell tree, you don't see tree. All right? And there's many other, like, reading a book. And there's just so many, compared to like a dog or cat, it's all, it's all visual and kinetic. That's how the communication, and some noise. That's how the communication is. And so we're just updating for the first time. And so we will always be agile. So I guess let's end on agile. Is that, the computer science, is that all this is already happening. Is that the Agile Manifesto is, that people and interactions are more important than rules and laws and regulations and directions. All right? And that what's been done is great. All right? But what's to come is more important. We wouldn't have anything to do. All right? That's, but what's done is great. All right, yeah, great, America, all that stuff. Yeah, that's great, it happened. But what's to come is more important. If these two simple, obvious, universal thought that, behaviors from that, you're, the police. Well, that the interactions with the people are more important than the laws, the rules, the legislation, and the money. I call it open arms policing. Then the police would be okay. That we would have all these, the police would be like, oh, I love you. Well, how could you breach your integrity like this? Be here now. And so that they call open arms policing. I'm gonna keep on ranting. And so anyway, is that this whole opportunity. I mean, we can't get much worse than we are right now. And so, friends, it's gonna be a fun ride for a whole year. I'm finally worthy. I thought I was in due diligence prison, but actually I've been in due diligence paradise, and going back into the artificial environment that I was a mutineer. I mutinied from, like what, 15 years ago, so I could be here now. And oh my gosh, I'm worthy of it. We're gonna have a fun year, and our generation. I've got the marketing is still falling together. How to print the calendar and all that stuff. And so, anyway, I'm gonna stop the rant. And that, okay, just to recover it all, is that we were brought up in an artificial talking environment. But the problem is that our universal subconscious, the energy that beats our heart till we're like till we're 6, that is us. All right, and then that's when we feel the shifts and we get taken away. Because that's when we get this consciousness part, and that's why we also bow down to the authority of the state, because we have the authority of our mothers and fathers, and then that authority is taken and put into the state with the school system. Why not start the school system at 10? That wouldn't work. We gotta take it. So like everybody goes, oh, okay. That whole part of it. It's getting dark. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun trip. I hope you enjoyed this rant. I'm practicing the main species SOS rollout, which will happen over the next few days. And so it's good to see you again, friends. Love you guys. Oh God. Peace screw up. Alright, with this, language follows the environment here and now. Just like music and math. Alright, that has to follow the environment, and we will forever. We're saving the world. Because like I said, Earth is the whale, and it's for sale. Blah!